Please be seated. Once again, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all both here and on live stream to this exciting evening. I want to welcome all the rabbis who are here tonight, my fellow board members, past board chairs, our many supporters, and of course my family members who are here to celebrate and experience firsthand what I've been telling them is so special about Maharat and so inspiring about the 6 women graduating tonight and the 58 alumni who preceded them. Yes, that's our soon-to-be total. 64 women steeped in Torah values and halakha, equipped with pastoral, educational, and social-emotional leadership skills to inspire the Orthodox community and the Jewish community at large to feel more deeply engaged and connected to our rich tradition. I would also like to welcome the 4 recipients of our Emerging Scholars Award. Miriam Goldberger from SAR High School. Netta Haas from Beechwood High School, Ohio. Tamar Rosenfeld from Yeshivat Frisch, the recipient of the Ian Kajdan Zichrono Livracha Emerging Scholars Award, and Charlotte Naar from Moriah College in Sydney, Australia. Our inaugural recipient of the Maharat Global Emerging Scholars Award. The Emerging Scholars Award acknowledges 4 young women who have demonstrated impressive accomplishments in the Jewish community. This award supports their continued growth with the stipend towards their university or gap year education and the beginning of what we know will be a lifelong connection with Maharat's network of faculty, alumni, students, and prominent scholars. These young women represent the future of Maharat, and in many ways they lead me into exactly what I wish to share with you all tonight. A look at our future. What is emerging in Maharat's future? The answer is growth, traction, acceleration, excitement. Compared with other rabbinical schools that are challenged with decreasing applications, our admissions rates are up. Our student body has grown by 28% and our faculty by 43%. Our dollars are growing. Our budget has grown by 16% this year and by 45% over the past two years to keep up with our increasing student body and programming. And we are now operating with an over $4 million budget. We are no small startup anymore. And while such rapid growth might make some organizations nervous, thanks to the magical fundraising skills and vision of Rabbi Sarah Hurwitz, we have met this year's $300,000 goal for graduation, and we continue to bring in new and increased gifts from individual donors, multi-year donors, and foundations, down to our most recent gift just last week from the Aviv Foundation of $2.1 million over 3 years, ours and their largest grant. But we are not only growing in numbers, we are growing globally. Our students and alumni now come from 7 countries worldwide. We are growing in partnerships, both here and in Israel. And above all, we are growing in traction and momentum. We are growing more central in and integral to modern Orthodoxy. A recent study by Nishma shows that 69% of the modern Orthodox community agree that women should serve as clergy, up from 56% in 2017. The idea of a female Orthodox rabbi is something that all of us in this room have believed in for quite some time, often with much and still with some opposition. But the reality of female Orthodox rabbis is emerging, and we, Yeshivat Maharat, are its trailblazers. We are living in what has been called the golden age of women. Maharat is now privileged to be in the company of many organizations, efforts, and initiatives, all working to advance the role of women in Orthodoxy. Organizations promoting Talmud study, writing, education, halakhic advising, you name it. The interest by women to find more central roles for themselves in Orthodox Judaism is palpable, and the modern Orthodox world is responding. And all of this says to me that our future is very bright. Orthodox women are pursuing many different paths of leadership, but it is only at Maharat where all of these avenues of women's advancement merge. We are where they all come together. At Maharat, we train women to be scholars, educators, writers, chaplains, Hillel and JCC directors. We empower women to launch their own Batei Midrash. We prepare women for pulpit positions, both in existing synagogues or in synagogues they build on their own. Maharat is where all of the possibilities for Orthodox women are interconnected and strengthened by one another. This is why we like to say Maharat is not simply a rabbinical school, it is a movement that offers women the full range of leadership possibility by taking them all the way to the finish line. And this is what we celebrate tonight, the finish line, ordination. But unlike the finish line of a marathon, the finish line tonight is also a starting line, a new beginning for the 6 graduates tonight as we send them off to share their Torah values and vision with the Jewish community. It is not an easy task. In his covenant and conversation on this week's portion, Shalach, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs shares a reflection of the Lubavitcher Rebbe on the sin of the spies. Their real fear, the Rebbe said, was not of failure, but of success. Success comes with new responsibilities, challenges, expectations, pressures. 10 of the 12 spies were afraid of what life in the real world in the land of Israel might entail after time in the wilderness. Becoming a rabbi is choosing to engage in the real world, to dedicate one's life to the Jewish people, to make difficult decisions, to inspire faith, to build bridges, and to build community. This finish line is the charge to go forward. It's the start of the real run. We have no doubt that all of the graduates tonight, together with all of our alumni and future students, will each make her own invaluable mark on the Jewish community and help build a brighter and better Jewish future. A big reason for the preparedness of our graduates tonight, the success of all of our alumni, and the commitment of our students is because of whom we are honoring tonight, Rabbi Jeff Fox. Our Rosh Yeshiva and Dean of Faculty. I have known Rabbi Jeff since our elementary school days, and it gives me great pleasure to wish him a mazel tov on this well-deserved honor. I now ask you all to turn your attention as we watch a video about our special honoree, after which we will welcome Leah Krakenowski, Maharat's first board chair and a close friend of Rabbi Jeff, to come forward and introduce our honoree.
I think from the beginning he always enjoyed Judaic studies and everything that he had learned.
He was always a thinker, always questioning, but in the right way, always trying to find the answer what was right for him.
The first word that comes to mind is pioneer. You are a chalutz.
He is a real trailblazer. He does what he thinks is right and he believes in and is true.
About a year into Maharat, I was looking for a Rebbe, for a partner, somebody who could be the Rosh Yeshiva. And I looked at Rev Jeff and I said, he's my guy.
I don't think there would be a Maharat without Rev Jeff. He's had this humility to do tzimtzum and make space for others. He has our backs. He's there with us.
How amazing is it to have a man in a woman's yeshiva who is literally able to bridge the world and bring together the rabbinic world, the male rabbinic world, the female rabbinic world, and really do his very, very best to understand all the different angles and bring us together.
Rav Jeff is a profoundly kind, humble individual, and it must also be said that he is a profoundly courageous individual. The two of those together, humility and boldness, is a really uncommon combination.
Rav Jeff is somebody who fulfills my vision of rabbis who combine head and heart.
You would not think he had any ego about the fact that he has as much Torah learning as he has, but he is legit in every way as a Talmid Chacham, and he is compassionate beyond belief.
Right, that Rashi is very strange. Aruch LaNer is bothered by it, and he fixes it for us.
So Rabbi Fox treats you like an equal. So even though he comes with incredible scholarship and brilliance and knowledge and experience, even when I was a student, he would ask me what I thought about different things. He would show me sources and be curious about my take of these things as if we were chavrusas, and yet clearly he's the Rebbe.
Yes, when you walk into the room, you're the Rosh Yeshiva. People stand for you, but your character is such. You walk humbly, and you stand for your students.
Reb Jeff is a really clear teacher. He lays out the sources in a way that he's telling us a story about how it all developed. He's always keeping in the back of his mind and then bringing us back to the application and to the people who are being affected by the halakha.
It's always about the bigger picture, that we're always zooming out to what this is really all about.
I had such an incredible time that first year learning with Reb Jeff and being challenged by him, being challenged to really think about how I learn and what it is that I take.
You see how he interacts with others, and you see how he interacts with his own family, and the way he works with Beth as being a parent to their 4 boys is just fantastic.
The work that he's doing embodies the values that we felt so important to instill in our children. So I'm proud of him, and I am proud that our boys, our 4 incredible boys, have been raised with such an incredible role model who knows what's important to fight for, who has a really clear perspective on what's important in the world.
Abba's my inspiration.
He was the one who taught me how to ride my bike, how to swim, how to throw a ball correctly.
I feel like my dad means a lot to me. He's very supportive, but also kind of inspiring in the way that he's dedicated to his work. And he's really stayed with me through the times that I've found myself struggling in my youth and throughout my young adulthood.
People go to Rav Jeff for halachic guidance and advice where they would not feel comfortable going to anyone else.
The cases he deals with, when they're personal, I think he, given his pastoral training and experience as a pulpit rabbi, moving into more of a posek in general and working at Maharat, allowed him to have the right kind of empathetic experience to deal with cases in a really loving and kind way.
I think Reb Jeff is able to see the humanity in a wide range of people, and that's a rare gift that not every rabbi has.
People know that they're talking to a real human being who cares about them.
He's the kind of guy I trust. I trust him with everything, and he's been my support for a long, long time.
I think the way that Reb Jeff speaks about halacha and human needs, both physical human needs and also spiritual and emotional human needs, is really, really special.
Jeff cares so much about people on an individual level, their spiritual lives, and at the same time, he's thinking about and dreaming about how he can make the world better for people at large, for the Jewish people.
He's not afraid to show his feelings. When his father was sick, I watched him so carefully, like how he mourned and how he spoke about it, and it was inspiring.
He just has, he sees things a little differently. He can see the good in you, and he can make you laugh. He can make you laugh when you need to laugh.
Jeff has this amazing ability to synthesize the serious parts of life and the humor of life.
Jeff is playful and funny and loves living in the moment.
Rav Jeff, I could not do this without you. In addition to all of the cerebral and Torah you bring to Maharat, you bring joy and laughter. We've had some really wonderful moments over the years, and I can't wait to see what comes next.
Mazel tov, Abba.
Good evening, everyone. I feel like that video is the perfect segue for what I'm going to share with you this evening. So we begin. Shammai Omer, Aseh Tortcha Keva, Emor Ma'at, V'aseh Harbeh, V'hevei Mikabel et Kol Ha'adam, B'sever Panim Yafot. Shammai used to say, make your study of Torah a fixed practice. Speak little, but do much, and receive all with a pleasant countenance. I remembered learning this maxim when studying Pirkei Avot with my late father as a little girl on Shabbat afternoon. And this maxim has helped me understand how I should honor your leadership, Rav Jeff, your scholarship, and your sheer sweat equity in pushing, and pushing some more to reorder the landscape of modern orthodoxy. It helped me understand how you have helped our students and women in general take both intellectual and spiritual risks, demand change through learning, and through learning to lead. And as a result, along with an ever-growing legion of talented, committed professionals and lay people, helped put Yeshivat Maharat on the map. So this brought me to contemplate the question, what's in a smile? Well, if you are Rav Jeff, a smile means many, many things. So over the past 20 years, I have slowly learned to read and be humbled by the sheer number, nuance, and versatility of the smiles Rav Jeff manifests. To begin, there's your smile of deep wisdom. You look into the faces of your students, your colleagues, your family, and your friends, and even your detractors, and your first reflex is to smile. You listen, and then you respond with your Talmudic head, your intellectual might, your spiritual joy, your humor, and your human heart. There's your smile of forging a connection, which I've personally seen help bridge some of the deepest human divides. There's your smile of gentle irreverence, when you work pretty hard to temper your slightly wicked humor with your rabbinic dignity. There's your smile of steady guidance, a subtly expressed smile from you, sometimes without us realizing, helps us move forward and evolve from a tightly held belief to a new place of understanding, and to consider a new way of thinking and acting. There's the smile of affirmation. This one is a smile that accepts, makes room for, and embraces the unsung, the nonconformist, the misunderstood, the most marginalized among us, and that heals a lot of hurt. Finally, my personal favorite, what I call the Lollapalooza of smiles, and your ultimate secret weapon, your smile of insistent, unrelenting persuasion. I want to share a story that I think illustrates the power of this particular smile, and the reason that your work with the Yeshivat Maharat reflects the work of your neshama, your soul, as you go about raising the bar of teaching excellence for our students, and at the same time, helping better the lives of others who find themselves at the margins of our greater Jewish community. Years ago, when my mother died on the first day of Chol HaMoed Pesach, there you were, going about traipsing through the muddy ground of holding a burial in Israel during a Chag and forcing a path with an intransigent, all-male Chevra Kadisha so that 3 determined daughters would be allowed to give abbreviated Hespedim and say Kaddish at the Kever. And here it is. You never said a word about it, or even explained how you got them to bend to your will for our benefit. All I know is it's 13 years later, and whenever I arrive at the cemetery in Rehovot, and the head of the Chevra Kadisha sees me there, he still kind of nervously rushes over, and he mumbles something like, Shalom Aleichem le'achat mishalosh habanot shehispadu. Hello, and welcome to one of the 3 daughters who gave a eulogy. When I reflect on this amusing little anecdote, I actually see deeper, more profound forces at work. How you continue to teach me, and all of us, about moral courage, about the urgent need for voices and rabbinic scholarship of women, and how you go about modeling the level of commitment required to care for and move individuals and communities forward. And in the end, this is what brings a smile to my face and meaning to the lives of so many. So I'd like to call you up now. So with this, I present you with a token of our deep appreciation and a personal hakarat hatov to my rabbi, my friend, my teacher. For those of you who can't read this, it says, V'shamru derech Hashem lasot tzedakah u'mishpat. Keep the way of Hashem by doing what is just right. Okay.
A lot of people in this room. God asked Adam in the garden, Ayeka, where are you? In the song that we heard just a few seconds of, we turn back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and we say, God, Ayeka, where are you? Where are you, God, living in the lives of those near wildfires, or perhaps even far from wildfires? Where are you, God, in the lives of the people in Ukraine? Ribono shel olam im nedaber gluyot. God, if I can speak openly, where are you for Jews who suffer at the blunt edge of halakha? Women chained in unwanted marriages, Jews who want to build families with 2 dads or 2 moms and send their kids to day school. Women who seek your presence through more Talmud Torah and more mitzvot. And so I come every morning into the Beit Midrash and I ask a smaller question, a question that feels like a life's project. Where are you, God, for those of us who seek your voice on the pages of the Masorah, in the Gemara, the Rambam, the Kedushas Levi, and ultimately the most important work in the history of halakha, the Beit Yosef? Maybe we can listen together for the voice of the Ribono Shel Olam in this week's Parsha. V'chi yagor itchem ger. And if a ger lives amongst you, hakahal chuka achat lachem v'lager hagar. The kihila is governed by one law for you and that ger. Kachem kager Yihiyeh lifnei Hashem. To you and to the ger, you stand as one before God. These psukim take on technical halachic meaning for Chazal. However, the pshat of the Torah is that we're talking about a stranger, a resident alien living inside of our community. And the Torah teaches us, kachem kager. You and the ger are the same before God. Hashem's voice is loud and clear. This vision defines the community as diverse. There simply is no sense of insiders and outsiders. This isn't only a mandate of inclusion, which is, of course, true. This is a reminder that the community is always already diverse. There are Jews of all types. There are kids who learn differently in school. There are adults who sound differently in shul. There are people who feel a disconnect between their neshama and their goof. And they're all already inside the community. The impulse to exclude runs deeply for all of us. And we all need to work hard to think differently. I stand here today mostly embarrassed, with feelings of inadequacy. I find myself overwhelmed with gratitude to Maharat, to all of you, for blessing with me with the greatest job in human history, the opportunity to spend my life learning Torah. Rabbi Sarah, when we started 13 years ago, I don't think either of us could have imagined a room like this today. Your vision, courage, tenacity, and insight continue to inspire me and all of us. Beth and I are forever grateful to have a best friend who's also our rabbi. Thank you for being there to raise our kids together, to laugh, and to cry. Rav Avi, if you're still awake, almost 25 years ago, I walked into this room, I walked into the HIR, and I knew that I found my spiritual home. None of this is possible without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Leah and Andy, is Andy here? Andy's in the back. Thank you for believing in me, for supporting Beth and I, for being there when it matters. 20 years of friendship means a lot, and a lot of smiles and jokes. And I can't wait for the next 20 years. Beth, your email signature reads, "The whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows." That's what you do every day at SIR and in our home for our boys. The past 18 months have been tough. And I know we'll come out together stronger on the other side. I love you. Shama, Adin, Yehuda, and Yishai. I love you more than you can ever know. Thank you all for being you. To my mom, thank you for giving me the love and support that every child dreams of. I know that Daddy is smiling down and that he's so proud. To my brothers, Seth and Paul, thank you for not letting me take myself too seriously. I love you. I can't see the page now. To the members of the committee and the board of this yeshiva, some of you have known me longer than I've known Beth. Thank you for all the things that you do that most people will never even know about. Your support means so much to me and to all of us. Thank you to Mori Verabi, Rabbi Linzer, to YCT for teaching me how to be a rabbi and how to be a mensch. To the amazing administrative team of this yeshiva, Amanda and Liz and Rachel and Jennifer and Jude and Jackie, thank you for always guiding the ship. I am blessed, truly blessed, to work with an amazing team of Talmidei Chachamim and scholars. Thank you so much to Rabbanit Liz Shane, Rabbi Wendy Amslam, Rabbi Daniel Reifman, Rabbi Adam Mintz, Rabbi Tanya Farber, Dr. Rachel Rosenthal, Rabbanit Avital Engelberg, Rabbi Rafael Kreuzer, Rabbanit Eliza Sperling, Rabbi Dr. Aaron Lieb Smokler, Dr. Esther Altman, Dr. Lisa Hirsch, Dr. Carolyn Pizer Bolag, Maya Bernstein, Rabbi Eliezer Lawrence, Rabbi David Silber, Rachel Danzer Sharansky, Drs. Miriam Ben Chaim, and Dr. Sarah Stemp. Thank you for modeling for our students both a love of your area of expertise as well as a love of every member of every class. The correct answer to the Torah's rhetorical question of Ayeka is one word: Hineni, I am here. Allow me to introduce you to the 2023 graduates of Yeshivat Maharat who have answered that call with a powerful Hineni. Miriam Ackerman Summer. The work that you have already done in Paris together with Rav Emil, is amazing. Your fine intellect showed up in Shir with a very cute baby. You have a gift for understanding complex ideas in both the world of continental philosophy as well as halakha. You will no doubt continue to grow as a scholar and a rabbi. Miriam Ackerman Summer, Ayeka. Bria Kahana. Your soul soars with a love of God, Torah, and people. You have both the ability to be a poet and a poseket. You should always treasure both and work to bring those two together. Montreal and the Shar are lucky to have you next year. Bria Kahana, Ayeka. I told you they were going to clap. Tamar Green Eisenstadt. Your analytical, legal mind grasps the fine intricacies of halakha. You also know what real life looks like when raising a family. Your ears and heart are open widely when you enter the hospital room as a chaplain. I bless you to always keep your heart wide open to the Torah that you will bring into the world. Tamar Eisenstadt, Ayeka. Naomi Kaltman. No one really understands just how you pulled this off. It feels like it might already be Shabbat back at home for you, but I'm not sure. You got up at crazy hours and showed more dedication than anyone could have imagined. Your ability to research and write will carry you. Your legal advocacy and work on behalf of the Jewish community are already astounding. Jofa, Australia is lucky to have you. Naomi Kaltman, Ayeka. Dr. Sarit Katan Gribitz. You are a consummate professor with a heart of gold. the care that you show for your family as a member of the beloved sandwich generation is a model for me personally and for us all. Your scholarship speaks for itself, and your Torah will be made much deeper because of many of the choices that you have made over the course of your life. You will be an inspiration to the students in any classroom you teach. Dr. Sarit Katan Gribitz, Ayeka. Rena Krautworth. You were often quiet in shiur, but when you asked questions, everyone listened. Your soft sense of humor and insatiable love of Torah is amazing. Keep writing, keep researching, and keep laughing. Your depth of learning of Torah and science will take you to the next level. Rena Krautworth, Ayeka. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you have all been waiting for, the Maharat Semikha class of 2023.
Achotenu, at hayi le'alfei revava.
Yeah, but where's the lady? Miriam Ackerman Summer. Miriam at Isabel has been found worthy to be a spiritual leader. Lehorot, לבנים ולבנות ישראל, תורה, תורה, באיסור והיתר. בהצלחה רבה.
Shalom, bonjour. Today I'm celebrating with you an end and a beginning. This day marks the end of 4 incredible years of training with the most dedicated teachers, 4 years enjoying the company of impressive women, my colleagues, who share a passion for Torah and an unconditional love of Am Israel. They have inspired me beyond what words can convey. But today also marks a beginning, that of, Hashem willing, a new time of serving my community in France as a rabbi. As the Semikha date drew closer, I often wondered, is this too much for me? In the words of Yaakov Avinu as he headed towards much dreaded encounter with his brother Esav in Parsha Vayishlach, Katonti mikol chasadim umikol haemet. I am not worthy of all the mercies and of all the truth which thou hast shown unto thy servant. And I trembled to think, Katonti, that I was so small, facing Hashem's blessings and the responsibility that they entail for my rabbinate. And indeed, how could I be so blessed to stand here today, just about to become, in turn, a teacher, a guide, a helper for those in need, in other words, a rabbi. Today, I want to read this verse a little differently. Maybe katonti, in fact, means that all of Hashem's blessings have made me humble enough to be a good rabbi. One cannot fully serve without this reminder that we are both small before God and endowed with sacred duties that we strive our best to perform. Therefore, I reread the verse thus: I have been humbled by all your mercies and by your truth. I stand before you, Hashem, ready to serve my people, and I sing. קטנתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטנתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, ואתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, ואתה הייתי לשני מחנות. הצילני נא, הצילני נא, הצילני נא.
Bria Kahana, please rise. Achotenu, Atayi La'alfei Revavav.
There's a bit of a mistake here, because it just says Bria Kahana instead of Rabbi Bria Kahana. Anyhow, Bria Kahana, Bria Kliel Bat Harav Roni HaKohen V'Keren Bitya has been found worthy to be a spiritual leader, Lorot Livnei Ulivnot Yisrael, Torah B'Yisur V'Heter.
Shalom. Shalom. The laws of mezuzot teach that the mezuzah scrolls must be placed upon the walls of our thresholds, the places we transition into and out of multiple times throughout the day. Additionally, the Rambam in Mishnah Torah 6:10 says that no matter how many rooms we have, or how often we even use them, each requires a mezuzah at the doorway junction. What are we meant to learn by this requirement to be surrounded by the Shema prayer at each threshold? A potential answer. Our lives are made up of a series of movements and transitions, some more stark and emotionally charged than others. The mezuzah is a symbol of the more subtle, quiet moments of change. It is an object that invites us to practice pausing, even within our homes, even multiple times within a day, and ask, what do we want to leave behind in this new space? Or what might we want to help birth into this new moment? This stillness allows us to deepen our consciousness and align ourselves in mind, body, and neshama, in direction and decision, into the renewal of our godly spirit that continuously greets us, especially when we pay attention to it. At this junction, after an incredible 4 years of deep Torah learning at Maharat, I pause and turn to the Shema itself for guidance for myself and for whomever it resonates. Shema. Listen deeply and with full presence to the Ratzon, the will of Hashem, myself and others in my community. And 2, V'limatem otam. Have courage to share the invigorating, transformational Torah that is alive within. May this balance between listening and sharing, receiving and giving be my kavanah as I enter the next room to the gift of the moment that awaits.
Tamar Green Eisenstadt, please rise. Achotenu Atayi L'Alfei Revava.
Tamar Green Eisenstadt. Tamar Daniela Ruth Abigail Bat Bela Brina Vishiyahu has been found worthy to be a spiritual leader. Laura Livnei Livnot Yisrael Toreh Toreh B'Isur V'Heter.
Hello. Ma ahavti Toratecha, kol hayom hisichati. Hashem, I love your Torah. It is my meditation, my outpouring of love all day long. The beautiful words of Psalm 119, verse 97, ring in my ears on this wonderful occasion. Indeed, the very reason that I'm standing here today is because of these words. I'm here because I love learning Torah. And so today, I'd like to show you a piece of Torah that brings me joy. It's okay if it doesn't bring you joy. It's the quirky Torah that brings me joy. Okay. The first chapter of Masechet Pesachim discusses the process of cleaning for Pesach on the 14th of Nisan. I know I've already lost most of you. That's okay. The second Mishnah reads as follows: Ein choshishin shema grara chulda mibayit lebayit umimakom lamakom de'im kain mechatzer lechatzer umeir leir ein ladavar sof. After we finish cleaning our homes for Pesach, we shouldn't worry about a weasel or a mouse showing up in our house and bringing chametz from one place to another, from one courtyard to another, or from one city to another. Because if we did, ein ladavar sof, there would be no end to the matter. What moves me so much about this Mishnah, besides the Ratatouille-style images of mice running amok, is that Chazal recognizes the importance of setting healthy limits and boundaries, even when the stakes are super high, as is the case with Chametz and Pesach. I also adore how the Mishnah adopts the if you give a mouse a cookie type argument to make its point. Or to sound a little more academic, Rabbi Louis Jacobs referred to this as the argument ad absurdum. For me, the logic, reasonableness, and humor of this teaching are quite simply beautiful. They are my sichati, my outpouring of love. My blessing to all of us today is that we all keep finding and holding on tight to the Torah and life teachings that are our sichati, so that together we can sing out the words of David HaMelech, Ma ahavti Toratecha, kol hayom hi sichati. Thank you.
Nomi Kaltman, please rise. Achotenu, at ha'i la'alfei revava.
Naomi Coltman, Rachel Naomi Bat Menashe V'Natanel, has been found worthy to be a spiritual leader, Lahorat Livnei Lunat Yisrael, Toreh Toreh Be'isur V'Heter.
Good evening and good morning to my Australians. In the 16th century, the Jewish mystic Isaac Luria, better known as the Arizal, explained a concept from Kabbalah called Shvirat HaKelim. The story goes like this. At the time of the creation of the world, God created 10 vessels that were holding divine sparks of holiness. Due to the intense power of these divine sparks, the vessels they were in could not remain intact, and they burst open. Whoosh! A shower of sparks from these 10 vessels spread divine particles throughout the world. These sparks went to every place and every country imaginable. Why did this happen? Because the holiness was too great to be contained. Looking at Jewish history, there are very few places in the world where Jews have not tried to settle. According to the Arizal, Jews in every region, far and wide, live there in order to gather these sparks of holiness and make them accessible to everyone. And when enough of these holy shards have finally been gathered, the broken vessels will be restored and the world will finally be considered complete again. I started studying at Maharat from my home in Melbourne, Australia, just 6 months before a global pandemic began. My country's borders were closed for over 2 years. For months, Australians stayed home as everything was closed and my hometown endured one of the longest lockdowns in the world. And yet, these have been some of the best years of my life so far. Why? Because during this time, every morning, despite it being 5:30 a.m., when I logged into Zoom, I got to study Torah with my friends around the world. And it felt like a reunification of these divine sparks during a particularly dark time in the world. Living on the other side of the world, I find comfort in the Shvirat HaKelim story, and I feel eternally grateful to study Torah when local opportunities are scarce, grateful to have friends who feel close despite living very far away, and grateful to be part of a generation of women who are finding these divine sparks that have been scattered for so long.
Dr. Sarit Katan Gribitz, please rise. Achotenu atai la'alfei revava.
Dr. Sarit Katan Gribitz, Sarit Yolanda bat Shlomo ve'Esther, has been found worthy to be a spiritual leader. Lahorot livnei v'livnot Yisrael, Toreh Toreh bi'isur ve'heter. Mazel tov.
Multiple times in the Babylonian Talmud, we read about Machal ben Drosai, the dish of ben Drosai. The medieval commentators, Rashi, Rambam, dispute the details of such a dish, but for now, you only need to know 3 things. Number 1, ben Drosai seems to have been a fugitive, always on the run. Number 2, his dish was undercooked, because he had no time to spare. And number 3, a Braita in the name of Hanania states, Kol shehu kemachal ben drosai mutar lahashoto al gabei kira ve'af al pi she'en gufa uktuma. Anything that is cooked, like the dish of ben drosai, it is permitted to keep it on the stove when Shabbat begins, even though the stove is not swept of coals and the coals are not covered with ashes. Because the food is already considered cooked, there is no concern that a person will violate Shabbat by stoking the coals to continue the cooking process. In other words, if you're rushing before Shabbat, as long as your food is like the dish of ben drosai, that is cooked to the very bare minimum, you can leave it on the warm coals even as the sun sets. Machal ben drosai is one of my favorite halachic concepts, not only because I'm usually rushing before Shabbat. It represents the realness of the rabbis. We might ideally prefer a well-cooked meal, but ben drosai's dish sets the bare minimum standard of acceptability. That standard is not set by a distinguished rabbi, but by a fugitive. And the rabbis here take seriously the imperfect world as it exists, rather than as we might wish it to be. And then it demands that we find a way of fulfilling our commitments in such a world. For me, Machal ben drosai also stands as a metaphor for the halachic enterprise more generally, especially as it has been taught to me at Yeshivat Maharat. Caring for the individual, even the fugitive, answering according to a person's unique circumstances, valuing each detail, considering every possible situation, navigating between competing values, tackling the complexities of our tradition in order to create a sustainable and inclusive community, and doing so in the messiness of our present imperfect world. These are some of the lessons that I have learned with my chevrutot, from my teachers, and in our class discussions, and that I will be taking with me in the work ahead. Thank you.
Rena Krautworth, please rise. Achotenu, atai la'alfei revava.
Rina Krautworth, Machlarina bat Saraleya Veshlomo Ze'ev, has been found worthy to be a spiritual leader. Lahorot livnei velivnot Yisrael, Toreh, Toreh, Be'isur veheter.
For centuries, Jewish women, after lighting candles, have said the following prayer, a prayer expressing their hopes and dreams for their children. V'zakeni legadel banim uvnei banim, chachamim u'nevonim, ovahavei Hashem, yirei Elokim, u'mirim et ha'olam b'torah u'b'ma'asim tovim. And merit me to raise sons and grandsons who are wise, who love and fear God, truthful and holy people who cling to God, and illuminate the world with learning and good deeds. Although the phrase banim uvnei banim could just be a linguistic quirk, it also reflects the reality that throughout the generations, Torah learning by and large, maybe with some exception, was reserved for men. The Mishnah Berurah, in fact, when referencing this prayer, understands it to refer to male children and specifically mentions Zecharim. Women, for many generations, prayed for themselves to raise Torah scholars, but did not themselves partake in the Torah study for which they prayed. I feel fortunate to belong to a generation where, due to various sociological factors, this trend has turned around, as women more than ever are engaging in advanced level Torah study, a phenomenon that we celebrate here today. Today, this prayer could refer to banot ubanot shel banot, as in our generations, we are blessed to see that women have joined the conversation. Now that we have been given this opportunity, what are some personal reflections? The banner that I just walked under says, Alfei Revavot, teach thousands. This task seems daunting. How can one person instruct thousands of people? Perhaps instead we can take the teachings that we have learned, teach other people, who in turn can teach others, and so on, until many thousands, in fact, have learned and benefited from the teachings of our teachers. I am grateful for the opportunity to study that I have received, and also am grateful to my family, friends, and teachers for their support on this journey. May the learning that we have gained take us from strength to strength.
Students, graduates, family, supporters, and above all, perhaps, the magnificent leadership of this remarkable institution. Permit me to express my deep sense of gratitude for having been given the privilege of being involved in some small way in this remarkable, heroic process which has now culminated, at this stage at any rate, in a most unbelievable achievement. Starting with what might be thought of as a meek voice, calling out into the wilderness and developing into a clarion call, announcing a new phenomenon on the scene, one which will have a tremendous effect on the Orthodox Jewish community. You know, sometimes a new invention or development appears on the scene, and only afterwards it becomes apparent the degree of poverty and lacking that existed before this new innovation. For so many years, there was not this phenomenon. And it is a scene-changing event. It's a very brave and courageous first step for which the leadership of this institution should be congratulated for their courage, for their vision, and for their success. I'd like to make a personal prayer of thanks based on a well-known prayer that one says when one completes the learning of a tractate of the Talmud, here adjusted to the present situation. It's a personal statement, but I think it's a statement for everybody here that is involved in one way or another that is making this event possible. מודים אנחנו לפניך, השם אלוקינו ואלוקי אבותינו, ששמת חלקנו מיושבי ויושבות בית המדרש, שאנו משכימים ומשכימות לדברי תורה, ועמלים ועמלות, ומקבלים ומקבלות שכר, ורצים ורצות לחיי העולם הבא. ויהי רצון לפניך, השם אלוקינו ואלוקי אבותינו, שכשם שעזרתנו לסיים פרק זה בחיינו, כן תעזרנו להתחיל פרקים נוספים בחיינו. ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות ולקיים את דברי תורתך באהבה, ולהנחיל לדורות הבאים באמונה. אמן כן יהי רצון.
Shalom, shalom lekulchem, from paradise, from Medinat Yisrael, from the beauty of Efrat. It's a zechut to be here, but with every positive, there could be a little bit of a negative, and so not being with you on your Chag HaSmicha, of course, nogea balev, it hurts. But melev alev, I wanted to bless you with a mazel tov. How far we've come. When Sarah received her smicha, we were careful not even to use the word. And here we are, not long after, just a relative few years, 10, 11 years later. And I bless our smicha class with a mazel tov, receiving Torah, receiving smicha and becoming rabbis in Israel. And I pray that Maharat has done something for you, lifted you, shown you a way for you to do it in your own way. In the same breath, I want to express gratitude To all those being ordained this evening, to each of you I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for believing in Maharat, because as the Rav would say, everything needs a matir. And you coming into the halls of Maharat, studying in our Bet Midrash, on Zoom around the world, your message is to other women, it's okay. It's okay. We give you the samchut to receive Semikha. And so my blessings to my dear Sarah, Ein Milim Sarah. To Erica, thank you so much for your leadership. To Yedidi, Rav Daniel, and of course this evening, finally, Rav Jeff agreed to accept and honor Rav Jeff, a Talmid Chacham par excellence, who lives and breathes and walks the way a Talmid Chacham should walk. Vatznei lechet im Elokecha. And so to each of you from Medinat Yisrael, I offer my Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov. I offer the blessing of the Sfat Emet. Adam Yisha v'ish tzricha lihiyot mahalechet. Adam tzarich lihiyot mahalech mimadrega limadrega. Keep walking, higher and higher. Mala mala, reaching to do and to impact Am Yisrael and inspire the world. My blessings, my gratitude, my deep, deep respect. B'siman tov u'mazel tov to all of you.
I am filled with so much love. As I look around this room at each of you, I'm filled with love for Maharat's incredible team that made today a reality, to the staff and faculty who I treasure, to the board who I rely on every day, and to our donors and supporters who have made this dream come alive, to the students and alumni of Maharat for whom this institution exists. To Rav Avi, I hope you're still not awake. There's no words for me either. And to you, Rabbi Sperber, to whom I'm indebted. And to tonight's honoree, to Rabbi Jeffrey Fox, my partner in building Maharat into what it is today. You truly emulate the ethic of Torah and Tzedek. And to this year's graduates, to you, Miriam, Bria, Nomi, Tamar, Sarit, and Rita, I say with so much love, Mazal Tov. Love is actually a major theme in our tradition. The root Aleph, Hey, Vet appears around 27 times in the Torah. One of these, of course, is the first paragraph of the Shema. V'ahavta et Hashem Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol modecha, where we are commanded to love God with all our heart, all our soul, and our might. In the minds of our liturgists, that love between us and God is mutual. Every morning, right before we declare our love for God in the Shema, we try to imagine the God who loves us as well. And we say, Ahava Rabbah, Avtanu Hashem Eloheinu. With a great love have you loved us, Lord our God. And then the tefillah goes on. Rabbi Sperber, you captured it just a few minutes ago. It goes on with the hope that God will instill within our hearts, Tein b'lebeinu lahavin lahaskel, lishmoa lilmod ulamed, lishmor v'lasot, ulakayim et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha ba'ahava. To understand and to comprehend and to listen and to study and to teach and to keep and do and preserve all of the words of the study of your Torah with love. This bracha reads as a template for Maharat's mission. We are training and placing rabbis who are compassionate leaders, listeners, scholars, and educators. In fact, it is the phrase li'mod olamed lishmor v'la'asot, learning, teaching, upholding, and doing, that informs Maharat's foundational and fundamental vision. Lilmod, learning. Maharat is first and foremost an institution of serious Torah study. This year, we expanded our faculty, whose expertise raises the level of excellence of Maharat's educational offerings. Our students benefit from a high level of learning, which carries them through their time at Maharat and beyond. Our hope is that Lilmod is a lifelong pursuit for our alumni. In fact, that pursuit of learning has extended to our students, alumni, and faculty in Israel. In our newly launched Maharat Ba'aretz, serving the nearly 30 students and alumni who live in Israel. As of today, our new Hebrew website, Maharat Ba'aretz, is now live. And through the Center for Live Torah, we provide classes to high-level learners, lay leaders, and the greater community through our cohort fellowships, summer learning, and publications rich with Torah insights. Lilmod. Then Lilamed, teaching. Maharat students and alumni serve as a resource for the Jewish community, providing continuing education and connection for young adults, professionals, educators, and leaders in the field, meeting people where they are. And now we are thrilled to expand our ethic of learning and teaching to our new joint program, Tehillah, Eina Natziv Maharat's Advanced Semikha for women who are already serious scholars in Israel. The program will take place at Eina Natziv and offer in-person learning each week. Lilamed. I could stop here. Surely it's enough for lovers of Torah to simply do what they love, to learn and to teach. But the vision of Maharat has always been to go out into the world and uphold lishmor, our tradition, and to do la'asot, not only to act, but to bring about the changes that our community needs. La'asot. Lishmor v'la'asot is the ethic of advocacy, where Maharat actively seeks to bring more joy and justice to a broken world. Our students and alumni advocate for social change in pursuit of serving a diverse community that holds fast to a tradition with an eye towards innovation. Tonight on your seats is the 4th volume of Maharat's Karen Journal, featuring Chidushim, new ideas by our students and alumni. For those on live stream, you can download a copy at yeshivatmaharat.org. And we are committed to raising questions and creating dialogue in our next volume, which will feature articles by our Halacha in Action alumni on the topics of marriage and divorce. Limod olamed lishmor v'la'asot, to learn and to teach, to uphold and to practice, and to manifest. As we approach the Shema, we make a commitment to not just learn, but to teach, not just to teach, but to uphold, not just to uphold, but to practice, and not just to practice, but to manifest a just and kind Torah in our lives and in our world. And so to you, my dear graduates, Miriam, Bria, Nomi, Tamar, Sarit, and Rina, Lilmod, keep learning from the richness of our tradition. Lilamed, pass that knowledge on to your people. Rina, to your students in the YU library, and readers of your articles on the intersection of science and halacha. Sarit, to your students as associate professor in the theology department at Fordham University and the co-director of Fordham's Center for Jewish Studies. Bria, to your congregants in your new position at Shar Shemayim in Montreal. Tamar, as a chaplain to your patients at Columbia Presbyterian. Miriam, to your congregants and students at Kol El in France. And Nomi, to your students and constituents as founder of JOFA Australia and as a prolific journalist. All your students look to you as their rebbes. But don't stop there. Lishmor v'la'asot. Don't stagnate. Bring about the change that you have been training for. Lift up and transform lives with your heart and soul. Lilmod, Lilamed, Lishmor v'la'asot. are the pillars that animate my vision of what Maharat represents. It animates every element of our work, from our core program, our advanced Kollel and Beit Midrash programs, to our Center for Live Torah, and it informs the way you, our students and graduates, create a more loving world with a loving Torah, Toratecha ba'ahava, at its center. Musmachot and rabbis, Miriam, Bria, Nomi, Tamar, Sarit, and Rina, I can't wait to celebrate and champion what you do next. Mazel tov.
Yeah.